Welcome to the Create a Life You Love podcast, the go-to podcast for people who are called to make a positive impact through the power of coaching. You'll hear encouraging stories from coaches sharing their journeys and their lessons learned along the way, tips from top experts who help coaches thrive in their life and their business, and so much more. So if you're ready to create a business and a life of impact that you love, let's get started. Hey, happy Tuesday, everyone. How are you, Gwen?
I'm great. Chantal, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Um, so excited to be here with everybody. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Create a Life You Love podcast. So happy you're here. My name is Chantal Cox. I'm an author, speaker, transformation neuro coach, and certified life purpose coach. I save purpose-driven coaches from feeling stuck and frustrated so that you can get off the hamster wheel and make the aligned impact that you're destined for without overwhelm and burnout.
And I'm Guin White, a quantum human design specialist and certified virtual coach. I work with powerful, creative, highly sensitive, introverted women entrepreneurs who come to me in order to discover their clarity and passion so that they live lives of purpose and prosperity. And as always, before we dive in today, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Create a Life You Love membership, this growing community of passionate, purpose-driven coaches who are up-leveling in the most powerful ways to increase their knowledge, momentum, and impact. So for more information and to apply, check out createalifeyoulovecoaching.com/membership today.
I just love our members. We just literally minutes ago got off a call with all of the members that we currently have, and it was just so delightful connecting with them, and just the energy and the progress that they're making, the stories they're sharing. It's just so amazing. So big shout out to current and future members. I'm just real excited for this next couple of weeks of 2022 and blasting into 2023. So anyway, side note.
Likewise. Likewise, love.
Yes. So this episode is being streamed by, we use Restream for any fellow streamers out there, like how do they get it in all those places? Check out Restream. And so we are on Facebook and YouTube right now. And if you are joining us on Facebook, just allow permissions at chat.restream.io/FB, and that will allow us to see who you are and interact with you. And today we are super excited to expand on human design. And if you're new to the podcast, that might be something brand new to you, and you might be like, what in the world is that? If you've been following for the last couple weeks, you're starting to kind of get to understand it. So Gwen specializes in human design, and I want you to just imagine that what if you had this cutting edge tool, this system that gave you amazing insights into your clients and really empowered your work? And what if that system not only gave you this unique perspective into their world, but it also offered you simple strategies to follow to better understand them and to navigate life with ease and strategies that work with their energy and really allow them to expand their possibilities and live their best life? Like, would you want that? Because I know I do. So I'm assuming that, of course, you would too.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is exactly what human design offers from a coaching standpoint, Chantal. And not only that, human design is also one of the most powerful tools you can use to find clients and grow your business. So it's not only a great resource for coaching, but it's also great for marketing and sales and a powerhouse just for your business in general.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just so exciting. So because we always have new people or people that maybe missed for a couple weeks and are catching up, let's back up a little bit and talk a little bit more about human design as a coaching tool. So Gwen, could you please share like how you would use it and how does human design work in a coaching setting?
Absolutely. Great question. So, as I like to call it, coaching by design gives you a really easy to implement system that directly targets your client's needs, wants, and desires. And of course, as coaches, that's exactly what we want. So, just for example, one of my clients was really challenged having all of these things she knew that she wanted, but she didn't really know how to connect the dots to get them. And she was actually slightly familiar with human design when we started working together. So for her, it was really a matter of connecting her unique configuration and connecting into it more deeply. So she's what's known as a manifesting generator, and she has really deep intuitive superpowers. She also has sacral authority, and we've been talking a lot about human design authority in a previous podcast. In fact, we talked deeply into it. And what that means is that she's actually designed to respond to what shows up using her gut, which operates in this very particular way. So, just showing her how her human design strategy and authority works was really life changing for her. She was actually able to stop relying on her head and seeking a lot of external validation, which was keeping her stuck and lost. And instead, she really started trusting her gut to guide her. And literally within weeks of beginning our work together, she landed a dream job. She was also able to set aside a lot of the other things that were robbing her energy. As a result, her career is skyrocketing. She works in Hollywood. She made a transition from one area of the industry to another, and it was really tripping her up. And because she was able to really lean into her human design, her configuration, her wiring, she received all of this guidance about where she's supposed to be. Everything started really lining up for her. And all of these other things that she wants and that she knows are in her path, she knows are going to be lining up as a result of what she's doing, all of this work that we're doing together. It all springs from this place of response for her. So, incidentally, one of the tools that I gave her to work with was the authority challenge, the very same one that we're currently offering for free in the Create a Life You Love membership.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know we're technically on like day 9 of this 21-day thing, but
Right.
everyone, it's self-paced, so they're on whatever day that they're on their journey. And
Yep.
so in such a short time, in this tiny challenge that's taking a couple minutes, like we're seeing some powerful results and insights. And then that story you just shared, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
amazing. How quickly your client got those amazing, life-changing, life-altering results.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely one of the most empowering aspects of using human design in coaching. Clients, once they understand how they're wired, are then free. They're able to move through their lives with so much more confidence, so much more freedom. Even if someone's design includes aspects that indicate they're wired to take their time with things, like, for example, if someone's a rare reflector type, this means that they really do their best ensuring that they spend time in environments that feel good, around people who really get and support them, and that they take as much time as humanly possible to make aligned decisions. But once they know this, their life really becomes so much easier. There's no having to second guess whether an opportunity, a relationship, a move, a job is right or not. So once you really know the strategy, the authority, these are two of the most powerful human design aspects that you can really rely on those.
Yeah, it's so incredible and it's so true. Like with my minimal knowledge so far of human design, it's amazing how it's really simplifying things for me in my business and my relationship to self, my I don't know, not I can't think of the right word, but confidence maybe of like feeling like I'm on the right path, not feeling, but really like knowing and having that validation. When we first met, like you shared your design with me, and yeah, validating is just a term that just resonates so much. I do want to share real quick shout out to one of our live listeners, Janine. She says, yes, I find human design fascinating. So Janine, thank you for being here with us live. And so, Gwen, I would love if you would share what coaching strategies you might offer me, knowing my design.
Definitely. So, yeah. And of course, understanding this isn't a quote unquote reading, and also understanding that human design is really quite nuanced. And how you actually express your design depends on a lot of different factors, which would obviously be explored in a coaching setting. But yeah, I'm actually going to share your chart so that everyone can kind of see what we're talking about as I talk to you about this. Ah, so there is the pink square kind of down towards the bottom of your chart. And this one thing tells us that you're a generator. So as a generator, you're here to be a worker, a creator, a builder. So for you, it's really good to ask yourself, what do I have the energy for?
Mm.
What's the thing that really energizes and excites me when I think about it? What is my gut pulling me toward? And if nothing comes forward, or if you're not getting energy rising up, which is a sign that you're responding in a really aligned fashion according to your design, then what you would do is get into the flow of things, talk to people, get outside of your normal space and routine, and see what sparks you, what you draw energy from.
Wow.
So those would be tips for a generator who's maybe kind of feeling stuck and not really, feeling that excitement, or not really feeling confident about what it is they have the energy for.
That makes
And
so much sense. And like even just within these last couple weeks, many of you guys know and love Paige. She's been my amazing social media manager for many, many months. She had an amazing opportunity that was just really the right thing for her and her family. So she's no longer a social media manager. And so this whole, what are we on, day 15 of November? Like 2 weeks, I've been trying to force my energy to
yeah,
continue things at a level I could never do all the amazing things she did, but trying to keep it up at a level that my energy just does not, I don't have the capacity to do it well without burning myself out. So hearing this is very, again, just resonating and validating. Those are going to be like our words of the night, I feel like.
exactly, exactly. It truly is. We talk about alignment a lot, you and I, and it really is about doing the things that are aligned for you. And once you know what that feels like, once you know what that actually means for you, then it's like, oh, that's why I get so exhausted doing these things, and why I get so energized and I could do these things forever, it seems. So yeah, it's really all about your aligned path. And a reminder for you and all generators, and just by the way, 70% of our population are either generators or manifesting generators. And so what I tell you is true for essentially 70% of the population. So you might be inspired by and be really good at a lot of different things, and most generators are. But your job in life, i.e., your purpose, is actually to tune into your gut and figure out by feeling the energy and listening to that internal compass, which will either expand or contract depending on which things are right or not for you at this time. So it's really good to ask, what is the thing that my gut is pulling me toward, and then waiting for that sacral response. You're really meant to let things come to you and not to internally come up with ideas or inspirations about what to do next, and not to effort your way through things that you don't enjoy. Now, obviously, life happens and social media managers move on. And yeah, we find ourselves doing some of the things in life that we don't necessarily resonate with, that we're not necessarily passionate about. I mean, nobody is, well, I won't say nobody, but probably a rare few of us are passionate about doing dishes and laundry. Um, but obviously, we set aside energy for those things and get them done. But yeah, the things that we really need to be focusing most on are the things that light us up. So you really need to respond to things in your external world and seeing how you naturally respond and how your energy expands to what comes to you, as opposed to chasing things or efforting your way. Um, One thing that is true of all generators that I have met is that we are actually designed to have lots of ideas and inspiration, but we're not designed to actually do or initiate them.
Mm.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, "Ooh, I have this brilliant idea," and to go do it. And
Yeah.
so oftentimes that's a trap for us. We're really designed to allow those things to come to us. And if you do have an idea or inspiration that's very exciting or interesting, it's good to reflect it out and allow it to come back to you.
Mm.
Yeah. So I can easily cite an example of this. One of my human design teachers, years and years ago, she's actually kind of famous in the human design community. Her name is Karen Curry Parker. Back when she was really first starting her journey with this system, she got this great idea that she was going to teach it. She was going to give a course. She was going to have a workshop. And so she did all of the marketing. She printed up a bunch of flyers. She rented a space. I mean, she did a ton of work to get ready for this thing, developed the curriculum, knew exactly what she was going to teach. And lo and behold, the day of the event comes and no one shows up.
Mm.
And she was, a little devastated to say the least. Now, weeks and weeks and weeks go by, and she's working with someone, sharing some human design information with them. And they are like, "Oh my gosh, Karen, you are so good at this. You know so much about this. You should teach a class." And immediately her sacral center just leapt up. And guess what she did? She did exactly the same things that she had done when she got the idea to do the class. She did the exact same flyer. She taught it the exact same way she was going to be teaching it the day no one showed up. She, all of the same marketing. She even rented the same space.
Oh, wow.
It was a live workshop and it was packed. It was
Wow.
packed. So the difference between actually initiating and responding make all the difference for generators.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And just a question for those that are joining us that may or may not know a lot about human design. About what like percent of the population would you say are generators?
So yeah, they're um, so if you want to go strictly generators, around 36% or so, 37. But if you include manifesting generators, and I like to include both just because so much of what generators and manifesting generators, how they're designed, is so similar. There's so much
Mm.
overlap. That's 70% of the population. So if you consider that 70% of the population are designed not to initiate, not to go out and act upon ideas and inspirations, but instead to wait for things to show up and respond with their guts to what shows up. And that could literally be, food items on a menu or, waiting for a sign from the universe. I've literally heard of people seeing a license plate that pointed to something that they had been working on. And it was like, ding, that was the sign from the universe I was waiting for. And they respond, and it was correct.
Wow.
So, yeah, you always have to be really in the moment, and paying attention. That's one of the challenges of all of the human design types is presence and being in the moment, because otherwise, most of us miss the things that the universe is shooting at us constantly, whether it be a song on the radio or a billboard or an Instagram post or an email or a message from a friend, a conversation you're having with someone. Things can show up for you to respond to in so many different ways, shapes, and forms, but it does need to be essentially in your material world. So, good
Interesting.
things, good things to note as generators, and as they make up the majority of the population, even those who are not generators, it's really important for them to understand how the generator works, because they can actually help. They can actually help. We're all here to work together. Another interesting thing about your design is you have something called split definition.
Hmm.
If you look at your chart, you'll see that you have um, the brown triangle on the left is connected to the little pink triangle, but those are not connected to the yellow diamond and the pink square. That is essentially called split definition. When your design isn't all connected up, that's a split definition. And that can actually add another layer of challenge to your path. It can
Of course
actually make it a little
they can.
it can make it a little difficult to move into action or
Hmm.
even cause or enhance procrastination. So it can be really valuable for people with a, with a design like this. And a lot of people have split definition to get out of the house, be around people to allow the energy or the definition to actually be linked up by someone else. So that's another piece of the magic of human design, is that we actually can complete each other's splits. And that's why oftentimes we find the people that we do find, and link up with them for certain projects or for life. In the case of, you find a significant other or a really close friend, all of those connections with other people can actually clear energy blocks when you have splits in your definition. Those types of actions, getting out, getting around other people, can actually provide you with new insights, give you new energy, give you that momentum push to start or finish that one thing that you really didn't quite have the energy for, but this is the thing that you're meant to do that really lights you up. So, uh,
So interesting. Yeah, because I know, I mean, pre any knowledge of human design, like I know I'm just naturally very like collaborative and I just thrive around sharing ideas. Like I love the ideas of like masterminding around something. And so it's really interesting that that ties exactly into um, how I was designed to operate.
exactly. Yeah. When you look at generators, they tend to shine brightest in collaboration, in connection. Um, Oprah Winfrey, for example, she is obviously a famous person and she is a generator. And of course, she was a broadcaster before she became the famous Oprah that we know her as. But her fame, her brilliance, her genius came through as an interviewer in connection with other people. That's where she really came into her own. And so for generators, this is true. They're really meant to collaborate, to cooperate, to work in connection.
Mm.
And so, um, yeah, it's a really interesting aspect of the generator design. Yeah,
Wow.
it keeps us working together.
I love it.
Yeah. And of course, a couple of your superpowers, which I shared with you when we first met and I talked to you about your design initially, are teaching and leading. You're actually born, like, this is one of your magical highest points of genius, is you're here to teach and share the things that you know and that you're passionate about to the betterment of your community and for the world at large. And leading people who you respond to and that resonate strongly with your passions and your abilities is something that's actually very natural for you. It's something that's very innate to who you are. You're designed to do actually very big things in this arena, provided, of course, that you stay in integrity with yourself and your energy. So for you, Chantal, sustainability is very important. And it's good to be aware of anything that takes you out of your integrity, whether it's related to your own authenticity and expressing that, or your energetic resources, or financially speaking. There are many ways that integrity can affect you. And of course, acting, um, moving out of integrity can actually throw you off track. It can throw you into a place of misalignment. So it's just good to be aware of feelings of, integrity. When anything feels like a compromise, like, your red flags should go up, because very likely it's going to lead you into a compromised place within yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really good. I can't wait to rewatch this replay and really process it when I'm not also like making sure nobody's in the chat being ignored or anything. But um, yeah. So I just the example of the last few days, we're on day 9 of the authority challenge. And so I really have been consciously, for the first time in my life, because I never really knew about it prior to then, um, really listening for my authority and tuning in. And, within 2 weeks, I was able to say, like, this isn't good. This isn't sustainable. And I don't want to power through. I need to sit down and reflect on what I'm willing to let go, what I'm willing to maybe delegate. Thank you, Janine, for sending me your VA's information in the chat. We've been going back and forth here. And yeah, I need to sit down and really reflect about that and think about that. Whereas prior to knowing about some of this stuff and doing the 21-day authority challenge and just taking time to think about it, it probably would have taken me 3 to 6 months for the light bulb to go off and be like, why am I burnt out again? I don't understand why this keeps happening to me.
Yes, yes. For you, super, super important to tune into that gut, know what your energy is available for, and when. Also, timing is extremely important for you. So yeah, recognizing, because yes, there again, right timing is a big piece of that sacral authority. Sometimes you can respond to something in the moment and you get, a contraction or a no, and you can check back in, a few weeks later, and you might get a yes. That's one of the most interesting aspects of the generator design, is that the timing of your response is as important as the response itself. So recognizing and honoring the yeses and nos when they occur.
I think that's really powerful to hear too, that even if it's a no right now, it doesn't mean it's always a no. So you can still be open to it if
Exactly.
it's a yes later. You don't have to, or I don't have to like shut it down and be like, nope, 6 months ago it was a no. So don't question it. Keep it a no. Like, go with the flow, like you said. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me check the chat real quick. Karen,
Sure.
thanks for being here live with us again. it's been so long since we've seen you. We were just on with you right before we
Hi,
went live
Karen.
here. She said, so good. You were able to listen to yourself. And Janine says, I've been told I'm a manifesting generator. I believe in the kismet vibe and everything aligns. And then she says, I love that so much. Pay attention to the yes and the no's.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly. And honor them.
Mm,
Yeah,
I love it. Um, so just hearing all this again, those words, I could just tattoo them on my forehead right now, like it's resonating and validating. But hearing it really also gives me more confidence about my direction. And yeah, the acknowledgement of what things might be pitfalls for me,
right.
um, and really being able to see it as, because sometimes our culture, we're in a kind of the hustle culture, and it's like, no, just push through, power through. So being able to see, like, no, this is a pitfall and this is not aligned with me. If this energy is coming up, I really need to pause and reflect and consciously move forward one direction or another, rather than how I was maybe raised and conditioned by our society and culture, to just like push, push, push until we get to burnout, which is so prevalent. So, what other ways can human design really be used to help guide people?
Absolutely. Um, yeah, there are, and I'll stop sharing your chart. Recently, I read the charts of a friend of mine and her husband. She's a chef and she's also a conception and postpartum coach.
Mm,
And they were about to embark on this big adventure in life. They were literally about to, or they were considering whether to chuck their um, home life as it was and go, like, essentially purchase an RV and start living the RV life. He's a medical professional and he could do his work traveling, and she's really leaning into her coaching. And so she was really thinking that they could do this, but they were really uncertain about the step, the timing, all of it. So she wanted some clarity around what they were doing. And again, she was really blown away, about these deep, profound insights she received. Once they knew their designs, they were a lot more trusting than ever to believe in themselves, to dream bigger. And she knew that the time was indeed right for them to go for it. So that was a really, and interestingly, human design, where you have more than one person, there are actually ways to run charts so that you not only see each individual, but you can actually bring them in connection. It's literally called a connection chart.
oh,
So
wow.
we were able to look at each of their individual charts, but then we were also able to look at the charts together and look at areas where they had essentially superpowers together that came from their connection. And then we were also able to look at maybe some of the areas where they might find friction.
Mm,
And, they then could address that, as something ahead of time, sort of preemptively recognize that there might be an area of, compromise in that energetic connection, and be ready for whatever might come.
that's so cool. So, I mean, just immediately, because so much of our audience is in this online coaching, entrepreneurial space, um, how amazing to, number one, as the coach, be able to share that with your clients, whether it's individual or partners. But then also just thinking about things like building your team, entering a collaborative partnership. So you had the ability to kind of do that when I was like, hey, you want to do this with me? So, I'm trusting that we're all all good in the chart area. And yeah, I just see so many very powerful possibilities with this.
Exactly. Yeah. There's One of the things that I really do talk about with regards to coaching by design is the ability to not only run the charts of your clients, but to look at them in connection to your own chart, or
Mhm.
to look at potential team members or current team members and know, without a shadow of a doubt, like where your energies really line up and support each other. It's really cool to be able to see that. A lot of the coaches I know that use human design start to see a pattern in the clients that they attract. They all have one or two or three very specific design aspects that, for whatever reason, attract them. And so now they know, hey, I'm going to start looking for clients with these design aspects because, for one, I'm already bringing them in naturally, but I also have a really successful coaching relationship with them. So why not continue down that path? So it's really interesting to do those types of exercises and start incorporating human design into your coaching in that way as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, every coach, therapist, intuitive, energy worker, healer, frankly, that I've shared human design with, they've all really expressed how insightful and confirming it was for them, and how they would really love to have a tool like this to use in their work with their own clients. One of the coaches in our membership, who was actually, initially a little skeptical, now is really, enjoying the process of not only just exploring her own design, but she runs charts for her family, her friends, clients, because of the accuracy of the wisdom that she's received just during the few conversations that she and I have had. So it's really, yeah, it can become a deeply affirming system in a lot of aspects, a lot of areas.
yeah. It's been really fun to hear the stories of her and others, like how it's impacting family relationships. And I know for me, even if I haven't run the chart of somebody and I'm still kind of learning what it all means, so even if I was looking at it, it still wouldn't necessarily be clear. I'd have to really dig a little deeper. But to think about like, oh, they always respond in this way. Oh, I bet. Like it's a very interesting lens to look at life, relationships, family, business, just everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It can really help to explain why someone does a certain thing. And it's like, oh, they're not doing that to piss me off. That's just how they're designed. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of us find out that, the people that we live with or work with, yeah, it's like, oh, they're not designed to work as many hours as I am. So I need to maybe be a little kinder to them with regards to their schedule, or, those sorts of things, or kinder to myself, when it comes to, yeah, efforting through things. That whole notion of, yeah, pushing through. That's not a really kind way to treat ourselves, our clients, and the people that we love. So, yeah, obviously, sometimes we do, have a need to buckle down and complete something. But yeah, when you're finding yourself doing that over and over and over again, clearly you're engaging in activity that is misaligned, and you're not living your purpose. That's
Yeah.
not going to be a good outcome for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, okay, so we've got a few more things on here. Oh, good. Dawn asks, let me show it because I know we're gonna hit this. It's like, how do you find out what you are and get the chart? And so I will for sure get the link here in a minute, but go ahead and talk about that, Gwen, while I find that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can actually, there are several websites where you can get your free chart or free body graph. I particularly, for people who are new to it, is to go to a site called My Body Graph. and we'll get this into our show notes and get this popped up for you so that you can get that. But it's literally mybodygraph.com and then /free dash body graph. So, super good question. And yes, that is the best place to start, because they offer a lot of like fun, free tips and insights right off the bat. And you'll know exactly your type. You'll know your, what we call your strategy, which is like your operating system. You'll know your authority, which we've been talking about a lot tonight and a lot in our membership. The authority piece is how you're designed to make decisions. Huge, huge, huge. So, yeah, definitely get your free chart. And if you have questions about those, by all means, connect with me. I'm here on Facebook. If you have specific questions or general questions, I'm delighted to answer those. And
Yeah.
I'm getting that into the notes here so we can get a link.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. So whether you're listening or watching wherever, we'll get that in the show
There
notes
it
of
is.
where it goes. Perfect. Um, the other thing I wanted to say too is, first my first exposure of you showing that chart was when our first one-on-one together.
Oh,
And so some people that when you pulled up my chart, that's the first time that they've seen a chart like that. And it's a little weird because you're
it
like,
is weird.
what
It is weird.
that. And so still, even though I'm learning a lot from you through everything you're doing with the membership, it's still just so nice to have a guide. And so I love that you are doing such a year long deep dive into all things human design. And so, yeah, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the multi-part masterclass series that you're doing, and specifically about the next session, because I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, likewise. So yeah, what we've been talking about tonight is actually just a little preview of the next session. But yes, up to now we've covered the kind of the five main foundational pieces of human design, and so I figured now was a perfect time to talk about coaching by design. So this is going to be all about understanding and supporting your clients according to their type and strategy, which we've been focusing a lot on in the masterclass series. I'll also be, touching on some other aspects, but yeah, that'll be kind of the main event of the next masterclass, which we will actually go live with this Friday.
This month is going so fast. Yes, it's
I know.
already.
I know.
For those of you don't know, we're doing 3 masterclass series as part of the membership, and so that's kinda how I base things in my head. I'm like, "Oh," like tonight we had our connection and reflection session, and so I'm like, "Okay, that means next Monday I'm teaching the podcasting masterclass. Gotta get that content back out and, review it and revamp it." And so that means this Friday is the human design, and I love to watch the replay of that and dig in because you make amazing resources. There's always like a workbook and activity and just ways to really interact with it. That's just makes it so rich and valuable. And that's how the 21-day challenge came about. It was part of um, the
Yeah,
third.
the authority. Yeah, the authority masterclass.
Yeah. So it's been really fun interacting with it in a bunch of different ways. And then also really enjoying your productivity masterclass, obviously. So yeah, there's something for everyone in the membership, but um,
Truly.
yes. So real quick, I want to show Karen shared when we were talking about how looking at other people's charts and graphs and really thinking about it. She said there's
Mhm.
allowing of others to be themselves. So yeah, when you understand someone else's design, then yeah, you can allow them to,
Yes.
and you could share that gift with them too, so that they get the validating and resonating too.
Exactly. All of a sudden, yeah, some of the things that, yeah, that they've always done, it's like, oh, holy cow. that makes so much sense now. Yeah, why I do this thing the way I do it. Yeah, it's incredible.
It really,
It's
really
nice.
is.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear that reflected back from, yeah, from someone in our membership. Woohoo.
um, so yeah, I want to make sure that we really talk a little bit more about how you're really going to be connecting the dots in that masterclass on Friday for anybody
Yeah,
that's listening to this and is like, well, I want access to that. So talk to us about what you're going to
yeah,
cover in that session.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, first and foremost, of course, we'll be talking about how to get someone's chart. What what data you need, because human design actually relies on a person's birth data. So, in conjunction with the placement of planets, this comes together to create our body graph, that chart that, we showed before. Now, your chart is going to look different than everyone else's chart. So that uniqueness is the one of the brilliant points of human design, and this body graph, this energetic map or blueprint of a person's operating system is what comes out. And of course, with this information, we then have a window of understanding into that person's life. So, we start with the body graph. I'll teach a little bit more about how to read the chart, the various aspects, what they all mean. But what's really great about human design is that it's not necessary to know everything. People who study this technology, this system deeply, they literally can deep dive for decades
Mm.
into all of the various aspects. But what's nice is that you can actually learn the foundational pieces of it rather quickly. So it's really quite powerful in getting started with this system as a coaching tool, and having just that little bit of insight incredibly helpful. So from there, based on human design, we'll of course go much more deeply into specific gifts and superpowers, as well as challenges. And then, of course, most importantly for this particular masterclass, we'll go into some very effective coaching strategies. These are the things that create the massive impact and foster the transformations that your clients are seeking. And then, as a bonus, I'll also be touching on some of the business related aspects and how to tap into those. Because when you, as the coach, really understand how your own narrative impacts what you create, it's much easier to find your perfect clients and also to market yourself in the most aligned way.
That's amazing. So no cookie cutter strategy crammed down your throat.
That's right.
Ah. I'm in. I'll be there. Oh, I'm really, really excited to get to learn from you on Friday and dig deeper. And it's really like, you're giving away this like secret sauce, so to speak. And what else does coaching through the lens of human design do?
Yeah. So, what's really fun about human design is that it can actually become your coaching model. So, with that model, your clients are getting this really step by step guide for how to build and create their entire lives. So, it gives you, as a coach, these very specific tools and the information to know how to recognize the underlying sources of self sabotage and procrastination, and then learn exactly what to do about them according to your client's energy. It also shows you how all behavior has a purpose.
Mm.
So when you can help your client discover the reason behind their behavior, you really do create lasting change. It can also show you how to structure your coaching practice to do the work you love, make the money that you want, and avoid those big pitfalls of being a coach. And the biggest one, as you well know, is
Yes.
burnout.
Yes.
So coaching with this model really does lead to a lot more joy, as you see your clients grow and experience that same growth in yourself with a lot more ease. Yeah. And you, Chantal, as a neuro coach, will really appreciate the fact that human design also delves into the science of alignment. So there's neuroscience, your nervous system, quantum physics all play a part in the mechanics of human design. So it's kind of fun to get into the understanding of what's behind how aligning your energy works can make it that much easier for the mind to work with the body, the emotions, the spirit to activate and achieve the full transformation.
Ugh,
It's just so
just
cool.
it's so cool. It's so amazing. And I love that, we cross paths and this my coaching framework and yours aligns nicely, and we're able to bring that to the podcast, to the membership, really be serving in aligned ways for both of us that just make us more powerful and effective. And I get to nerd out over more brain science stuff, so always excited for that.
Totally.
I like pick up my glasses. Um,
Yeah.
but um, So Janine shared in the chat that she found out her husband is a projector. It really helped her
Ooh,
understand him better.
yeah.
So that's amazing. And thanks, Janine. She dropped that link in the chat as well for anybody on Facebook. So you have a clickable link, and we will get that in the show notes as well for wherever you're watching or listening from. So you also have a clickable link. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Um, so how can people get access to the masterclass series?
So they simply need to apply and join the Create a Life You Love membership, become a member in Create a Life You Love membership. And that way they can get in. Um, all of the resources that we share are there for the members for as long as they're members. So they can go back and start from the beginning. They'll have access not only to you and I as coaches, but they'll also have access to each other to bounce things off of, and to share ideas and also to share their designs and what they're learning about, that aspect. But yeah, the best way, yeah, is to join and become a member, of Create a Life You Love. And why wouldn't you? Because you also get, um, access to Chantal and her amazing knowledge. She's teaching all about neuro coaching as well as podcasting. And then, of course, we've also got, our productivity masterclass series, which has been really fun and goes really hand in hand with all of the other things that we're doing.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure that everybody knows, because if you're already in the challenge, you already know this, but for, public wide knowledge, right now, as part of the free Human Design Authority Challenge, we've been talking about it for a couple weeks. So hopefully this isn't a brand new thing to you, but if it is, we'll give you a link here in a second. But all registered challenge participants have unlocked a 50% discount on their first month in the Create a Life You Love membership. So if you're interested in the challenge or the membership or having access to the Human Design Masterclass series or podcasting Masterclass series, like whatever it is, for a limited time, you can get all of that value and more at 50% off when you do join the challenge. And you can register and get started today. We'll get the link on the screen and in your show notes. And there it is on the screen. Thank you. I'll see if I can drop that in the um, chat, and then it'll be in the show notes as well if that didn't work on Restream. We'll find out
Oh, cool.
afterwards. I'll be able to check and see how all the tech is working in all the different places. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yes, yes, exactly. So yes, the nice thing is the 21-day authority challenge did come as, an inspiration. It came out of directly out of one of our master classes, and now you can get free access to it. And again, you'll be doing that within the setting of our, of the, membership. So you'll actually get a taste of what it's like to be a member, and take advantage of that, um, 50% off the first month for your membership by going through the challenge. And we are having so much fun and seeing a lot of successes with the Authority Challenge. So that's really exciting, really exciting. And I know we've probably gone way over time, but I'm curious to know. We can finally wrap up our discussions on human design and talk about what's coming up next week.
Yes, I love thinking about this because this was very fun to create and think about. So, as you know, the podcast and just the entire Create a Life You Love brand is really centered around helping others create not just a business, but a life of impact that you love. And so, something we hear a lot is that our listeners and our members, they're really passionate and excited to spread their message and to create their impact through their stories, their experience, their life lessons, just everything they've learned. They want to give that and help others with it, but they're just not sure where to start. And so, us on episode, whatever we're at now, 106 maybe, we may be a little biased, but one of our favorite ways that we teach to create that impact and share that message is to do that by getting on other people's podcasts that are already serving the people that you want to help. And this can seem really like scary and overwhelming. So, next week, I'll actually be sharing an overview of not only how you can get on podcasts, but how to really leverage them to create the impact that you were put on this earth to create. So, whether you're thinking of starting your own podcast, you already have your own podcast, or you want to access the audiences of other podcasters, it's going to be really fun and impactful episode, and you definitely don't want to miss it.
Yeah, this is such a great entry, either into podcasting or just marketing yourself as the amazing coach, or creator or author or speaker that you are. Podcasting is such a great avenue, and everyone's podcasting these days, and everyone's really listening in. So this sounds really amazing. I am so looking forward to that, as I'm sure our listeners are.
Yes.
And of course, speaking of our listeners, I would love to poll them, find out what their takeaways are from today, what value they received from our episode, and of course, to ask them to please share it with someone they think would benefit. And of course, finally, we would love, love, love if you would leave a podcast review at ratethispodcast.com/Calyl, Calyl. That is so deeply appreciated. And you can quickly and easily leave that review from your mobile device by grabbing the link in the comments and show notes. And of course, we'll make sure that you have access to that link.
Yes. And we go live every week, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central in the free Facebook group, Create a Life You Love Community. And then we also have been starting to do it on YouTube and sometimes on LinkedIn. It kind of depends on tech if it chooses to like us or not that day, but consistently in the free Create a Life You Love community on Facebook. So you can catch us live there. Thank you everyone for joining us live tonight and being so active in the chat. That's been a lot of fun. Or you can catch all the episodes wherever you listen to your favorite podcast and on YouTube. So we film live Tuesday evening and it comes out on all the podcasting platforms Monday morning, the following Monday morning. So you can kind of get that into your system and make that part of your routine if you so choose. So we'll be here same time, same place next Tuesday.
Yes,
And
enjoy the journey.
thank you for listening to the Create a Life You Love podcast. We would love to hear from you about your biggest takeaways. Share them with us on Facebook or Instagram at Create a Life You Love Coaching. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. If you are ready to build aligned and sustainable momentum without overwhelm and burnout, we invite you to apply for the Create a Life You Love membership on our website, createalifeyoulovecoaching.com/membership. That's it for now. Enjoy the journey.